Welcome to episode 6. We're still doing it.
It's still happening.
We haven't shut it down.
No, this is a tremendous success.
This is going to be the first episode where we have Q&A from the comments.
And a producer.
Oh, yeah.
We got Angel over here.
Hi, nice to meet you, everybody.
Hopefully they get to know you very well.
So, yeah, we got some Q&A. Angel's looked through the comments with Ivan, and they've picked some stuff, so that'll be fun.
Very cool. The only thing that I got, so I told you, I went digital minimalist. I deleted all my stuff. I have no idea what's happening on the internet.
This is huge. Do you ever look at your phone now?
Still habitually.
You already weren't responding to people's texts.
No, I wasn't responding to text. I deleted everything. So Instagram, YouTube is gone. I don't go on YouTube anymore.
Oh, wow.
It's not good for business.
Have you blocked Reddit, or can you still get to Reddit?
I got rid of... No, Reddit I can get to.
Do you want me to teach you how to block Reddit?
I think I can. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
You go to the settings and then screen time, where it like records your time.
Yeah.
And then you can turn on adult censorship and add websites to block. So
nice.
You can make it so that you are never using your phone. For anything.
That's the one. So I sometimes do Reddit on my phone when I'm taking a poop. That's
Not anymore. Now you just focus on your work.
Nice. Yeah. So that's happened, and I have no idea what's happening out there. If a link gets sent to me by a friend, which is what happened 5 minutes ago, there's Keanu Reeves video from PewDiePie, which, spoiler alert, if you're watching this today, we also released a video on Keanu Reeves that is coming out at the same moment as this.
Right now.
Yeah, so I've been working on that. He's an interesting dude. I don't want to fall into the trap of I never want to fall into the trap of glorifying or hating anyone that I do. It's so easy because you see a couple images, but he seems like a nice guy.
Are you saying it's unhealthy that I love Chris Hemsworth because I made a video about him?
Because I did a few moments where
adore him.
Yeah, very publicly a kind guy. No, Keanu's got cool stuff that it would be tough to snap photos of people doing. The classic like kicking it with a homeless guy, and I don't know too many people that have ever just pulled up and laid down on the street to have a conversation with a homeless person.
Yeah,
it happens.
Scott Britton. He used to give them food and hugs.
Yep, and hang out, which is it's a scary thing to do. And the point that I make in the video, which I think is most impressive, is I felt this as I've become a bigger person. He has so many people who, if he pauses in the street, would love to just suck up his time, energy. You know what I mean? Would just love to be there. And I don't know how, seems to be very available when he's out in public. Like, if he's there and you're asking for a photo, the videos I've seen, people just pile on. He's like, okay. And he's just stuck there for however long the pile on seems to take. And I'm sure at some point he extracts himself. But it's interesting how available he makes himself to a world that would love for him to never have a free second in his life if everyone got a photo. So it's interesting how generous he is, and I try to figure out in the video why he is able to do that. And I think a huge piece of it is that he doesn't have social media, he doesn't go to parties, he doesn't involve himself with people that are not apparently physically in front of him, leaving all this time and energy for even strangers who are just in front of him.
Yeah.
Which seems like a good way to live.
I was going to say, is that inspiring you to do the same?
It's certainly been along the thrust of the book that I read and all that kind. So I'm working on it. You
read the book's called Digital
Minimalism, which is essentially delete your apps. They're killing you.
Yeah.
they're ruining your life, and they're not.
Is there
real.
any new information besides what we've heard? So my impression,
the suicide
I never read the
rate
book.
was interesting to me.
Okay, what is that?
The suicide rate for teens has gone up. Now, granted, teens are the lowest. It actually increases as you get older. But it's gone from roughly, I think it was 10 in 1,000 in 2010 to now like 15 or 16 in 1,000, which is a 50 to 60% rise in suicide rates nationwide. And this inflection point in like 2012, 2013, where smartphones start to become ubiquitous in young people's lives.
So I think everybody's on the impression like, yes, I get it. Social media is kind of bad. How long ago did you do this?
I've been on this. I've made a video about how Instagram is ruining your life. I've been choking it back.
But when did the full delete happen?
4 days ago, 3 days ago.
Any noticeable differences so far? Like, do you pull up your phone and realize it's useless and put it back in your pocket?
You know what? Sort of. I actually use the Kindle app a lot more, and I use Reddit, so I'm going to have to
you got to. We got to block Reddit.
Benji made this point. You will plug the hole with something, and it will probably be junk food if you're not conscious about what you pick. So
yeah, sure. You're taking it. It's like you're trying to stop smoking, so you start vaping.
Yeah.
And then you get popcorn lung.
So it's been good. I also had the big thing that I've noticed is that sometimes you get these negative pangs from social media. You're missing a party. There's someone that you used to date that's on there. There's all these different things. And I don't get those, which is nice. And you don't notice the lack of them in your life. But the other thing is when you're taking a walk or you're out somewhere, you are a little bit more present because you've trained yourself to not be reaching in your pocket and checking. And I was more conscious of the wind on my face, as weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
I noticed that there were flowers in the trees that were above my eye line. Normally I'm at my eye line or my feet or my phone, and there are these red, very pretty flowers in the trees. I hadn't seen them. They're not called flowers if they're in trees, I don't think.
Whatever. Are you going to do, I think you should do a video 30 days after.
Sure.
I think that'd be very interesting.
I'll have to cut Reddit.
You're on day 4.
Yeah.
You got to cut Reddit. I will show you how. We'll do it after.
All right, well, this podcast
you want to give me
it's going to be
do it
rough,
right now?
man. Yeah.
I'll do it right now. We'll do it live.
Somebody's got to be on Reddit for this podcast. We're going to do it live. You take care of it. So anyway, so that's what I've been doing. Keanu seems to be off of all of this stuff, has never been on social media, has been disconnected, and that's been an inspiration because at 54 years old, he, looks really good, which is, I think, a sign perhaps of plastic surgery, who knows, but also of healthy living. And
I actually saw him get asked, and he didn't say he'd done anything.
I don't think he has. He doesn't seem the type to care. Now, that's great genetics. Let's not kid
ourselves.
That's
what he said. They were like, what's your secret? He says, my ancestors.
Yeah. I watched that clip. It's certainly good genetics, but I think if he'd lived a debaucherous lifestyle and was highly stressed, that wouldn't have been allowed. So, yeah, I've been increasingly disenchanted with the value of Instagram, Facebook. I still think YouTube is good when used responsibly.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, YouTube, I learned so much from YouTube. I mean, so this is the reason in the podcast why I never know who these people are when you bring up current events. My YouTube is all dog training, surf training. It used to be jiu-jitsu training, and that's an incredible tool for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll sometimes be watching videos about surfing and just be like, "Oh my god, I've been doing this wrong for 2 years straight," and then I'll go do it in the water, and I'm immediately better. Yeah. So I think YouTube can be an amazing tool. Yeah. But my YouTube doesn't feed me political stuff. It doesn't feed me, like pop culture stuff. So
then there's this belief, this is the hardest thing that the book talks about that I had to deal with, which is you get some value out of all social media. Yeah. You are connected with friends that you will lose touch with on Facebook. Sure. Instagram introduces you to noteworthy topics which you can bring up at the dinner table. YouTube has tons of benefits which you just described.
Well, Tim Ferriss got on this early. Tim Ferriss in his book 4 Hour Workweek says, don't watch the news. And since then, I stopped watching the news. And some people think that's insane. Yep. But it's like, as long as you are a social person, a lot of the important stuff will find its way to you anyway. And I know a lot of people, dude, I have some family members who watch the news every day for hours a day. Mm-hmm. They do nothing. It doesn't change how they donate. They're not out there picketing or lobbying. They're not making any policy changes. They're just getting angry for 3 hours a day, literally every day. And then that's it.
Nothing.
And it's like, that's not a good use of time.
Conversely, the glut of it makes you less likely to do something. The people who watch the 24-hour news feeds are the least likely to go protest. You can only watch a certain amount of time to have time left over for protesting. But the other thing is the economic argument that is not recognized, which is, yes, you get this value. You're connected with these weak links on Facebook. How much of your life do you have to dedicate in order to maintain that? And this is the same argument that I have with people about college when they go, well, you got value out of your education. I go, yes. Was it worth 4 years and 10 years of debt paid at the highest rate that I could possibly afford? And the answer is a clear no. So it's not, do these things bring value to my life? It's, do they justify the cost in time, energy, and life to do that? And when you actually measure it, it's insane. The amount of energy you would spend to keep a weak tie on Facebook or to get a funny video on Instagram. It's in my estimation not worth it. So I don't want to rail against social media for too long here because I know that a lot of people do it. But I'm pretty happy that we are not a big force on Facebook or Instagram. I'm totally cool with that. I don't necessarily want to contribute to that world. Maybe there's an argument for us being something that is in there and takes people out, but at the same time, it's, you know what? I'm not into that. That type of content.
I'm curious. So I think a lot of the advice about deleting social media is kind of rote at this point. Mm-hmm. So I'd be really curious for you to make a video in 30 days after where you had actual firsthand experience. Because I think people get it. Like, yeah, all right, it makes me sad, but it makes me happy. Yeah. It's a great way to kill time. I like looking at funny memes. Like, I know the counter arguments. Mm-hmm. So I'd be really curious to hear what your actual experience is.
Yeah, and what was lost.
What's gained besides, okay, some people are committing suicide because it sucks to be cyberbullied or because you're really jealous of people, but most people aren't. Yeah. So if I'm watching this conversation right now, if I'm listening to you, it's like, okay, I have no concern that I'm going to kill myself.
Well,
so
it's weird.
Why should I bother to delete social media?
I will tell you what I've seen is it becomes part of your background anxiety. And you don't realize that you have background anxiety until it's removed. And you go, oh my gosh, I was stressed about these sorts of things often. And we would talk about what was going on in the news, and you would see it would upset me. There's
well, you get more triggered than I do.
I get triggered, man. and
you get fired up.
Yeah. And it realistically, there's people whose jobs are to put ads against this content, so it needs to be as incendiary as possible to keep me watching. And it doesn't need to accurately reflect the impact that it's likely to have on my life.
Yeah.
If it were their job to educate me, it would be a completely different story, but it's not. It's their job to get me to watch.
Sure.
So there's all of that, and yeah, I'm happy to be off. I have not struggled with it really at all. Nice. There's a couple of phantom things, but I still have Reddit. So.
Well, we're gonna figure. I couldn't figure it out.
We'll get it.
But I'll do it after the show. Kind of related, stress. How is your sleep tracking going? Because I know you started sleep tracking.
Yeah, so it's been. I just checked. I got my first 8-hour night for the first time in 10 days yesterday.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's Grace's fault, man. She's got a horrible sleep schedule, and then
because she'll just stay up till 5 a.m. but then sleep till 2, right?
She sleeps super late and stays up late. And
that's her getting 9 hours. She's doing fine.
I know, and I wake up before her.
You're up at 5 till you guys are up at 5 together.
Yeah,
and then you're up at 11.
Yeah,
and then she's just up at 2.
Yeah. No, she will find her eventual 8 hours, and I don't always.
Yeah.
So
also, it's tough. There's no gravity towards the person who falls asleep first.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, I want to stay up till 5. Well, I want to go to sleep at 2.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do? Just fall asleep while she looks at you? You can feel someone's eyes on you. So there's always, I think in a relationship, often it's just whoever stays up later pulls the other one up.
And I don't mind. I hate going to bed. So yeah, so I'm working on that as well. And that's the other thing that I have to do is be conscious of my...
What are the big things that mess with your sleep? Coffee, stress?
There was one night where I had 2 drinks of red wine. You know that I don't drink.
That made you sleepy?
Except for that, on rare occasion, I'll have red wine. And it beyond made me sleepy. I probably had the first drink at 7 and then 8 p.m. My resting heart rate went from an average of 50 or to a low of 50 to 67. And if you look at my heart, it's insane what alcohol does to your sleep. It wasn't that much. It was incredible. I was shocked. And I felt beat up the next day.
Yeah.
Now, I'm an old man at this point. I realize, because I used to, 2 drinks of red wine back in college would have been the softest thing
I used to think a nightcap was good for you. Yeah. I thought, you have a drink before bed. It's literally supposed to be good for you. Red wine's got health benefits.
I used to purposely take 1 glass of red wine because I read that resveratrol was good for you.
And you read like people who drink moderately tend to live longer. So I was on the impression this stuff was good for you.
Yes.
And then I read a study that said that drinking before bed just wrecks your deep sleep.
Yeah.
Like, wait, but it's good for you.
Yeah.
So now I don't know what to do.
Well, I'm going to stop because that has thoroughly convinced me. The body tracking is awesome. I'm so excited when you can see in real time how things impact your body. When you eat a horrible piece of food and you watch your glucose spike, you're going to watch the habits of America change in real time. It is incredible what real-time feedback does for your behavior.
You're ready to just plug in.
Oh, I want Apple Health in my body, just selling my data to all the third parties.
I'm worried that all these wearables that are meant to track our health are just going to give us cancer.
Oh, we're going to find out.
That's my concern. Is I wear this thing when I go to sleep. I'm going to just have hand cancer one day or something. It's going to communicate to my phone while I'm asleep, like through my brain. All these waves are going.
A bunch of Jamie Lannisters walking around with no.
Yeah, I think this is our version of smoking. I think all the rays maybe I sound like a crazy person, but I suspect that we're going to be waking up in 20 years and be like, oh, what do you know? It wasn't good to wear a Wi-Fi device while I slept.
Everywhere, all the time.
So weird.
All these they were invisible rays.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, you might be right. That's possible.
That's the only reason I like that concept, but
yeah.
I've actually started to freak out about this. I sleep with a Timex now.
You're not going to get cancer. You're the most anal person about this kind of stuff.
I know.
Turmeric in the morning.
I'm one of those guys with like a tinfoil hat on.
Everyone should check out Anti-Cancer. That really changed your behavior.
Yeah. Well, my grandfather passed away from cancer when I was really young, and I was super close to him. So at a very young age, it got in my head, like cancer is disastrous.
Yeah.
And so I didn't really know what to do with that because I didn't know food caused cancer. So I was like, okay, cancer bad. And then I read that book, Anti-Cancer, and that's more than anything, that's probably what defines my diet now.
So after the diet thing is huge, I have come to believe through anecdotal evidence, some of the studies that I've read, but I haven't read the primary sources, and even just looking at people like Keanu Reeves in a very anecdotal way, that the number one thing is stress.
Oh, for sure.
And then it's diet, and then it's probably lifestyle and diet. But I'm not saying you should smoke, but if you could choose between being a smoker that is stressed all the time and a relaxed person who smokes, I think you're probably better being relaxed than smoking. It is incredible how stressed.
Well, you were super stressed during a breakup.
I watched my body,
your body fall apart?
Decompose in front of me over the course of 30 days. It was incredible. Clumps of hair falling. It just quit. It was like, I'm ready to die. Like, you might not feel it, but I feel it. It was insane. And it was, sleep was harder. Everything was worse. And it didn't matter what I did in terms of putting time in at the gym or the clean food that I was eating. Stress. Versus in Brazil, when I was still sick, off protein powder and eggs, but was like laid back having a good time. It was relatively much more healthy, which is crazy. So the stress thing is massive.
You also carried around with you in terms of charisma. I know that when you were stressed, you still had moments of very high. You'd laugh, you'd smile, but the day-to-day energy you walked around with, people could sense it. It was like,
I felt like a zombie.
Charlie's not energetic. He's not bleeding a positive vibe. It wasn't, and versus when you're not stressed, it's like, oh wow, look, he's standing differently, he's moving differently, he's speaking differently in a way that would be really hard without a videotape to figure out why. But the impact of people around you, I've seen it, is just like way better, so much better.
And what's tough is, I mentioned you get this background anxiety. This is why I'm so excited for wearables. When you can track cortisol real time and you get a sense of the things that are killing you, I'm so excited for how that will change the world. I'm excited for everyone to quit the job that is destroying their life and to have the breakup that they need to have because they're watching their cortisol spike every time they interact with that individual. I'm excited for myself because I know that I don't follow my own biofeedback to the degree that I should. And I'm trying to get more in line with that. The healthiest people are the ones that have this body. In my anecdotal experience, they have this body intuition. They listen to these things in addition to reading studies and eating healthy and all that stuff.
I just thought of something that's gonna be awesome. If you had a wearable that would track your cortisol and some sort of Google glasses and they talked, what you could do is when you saw a spike in cortisol, it could just record it, and at the end of the day you could just have photos of like, hey, here's what stressed you out, and it's just a photo of like your boss or your dog or whatever it is, and you're like, oh man, there's no fighting this, there's no arguing it, like these things are killing me.
So wrapping all this together, and then we can...
That's going to be dope.
This is the digital minimalism Keanu Reeves argument, which is we have this body intuition. When you take these phones away and you're listening to the quieter signals of your breathing, it's not like you can't tell how deep your breath is going. You know how deep you're breathing, except when you're in a hyper-stimulated environment, that overshadows all the quieter signals that your body is giving you. So perhaps one of the most dangerous things that smartphones, technology, hyper-stimulating world that is never, ever bored. That's the other thing. I've been bored, which is so cool. Boredom is great. It's so good to be bored. It's so awesome to be bored.
Dude, I actually noticed I started doing, I forget what, but something where I was putting away my phone or I banned something, and I started problem solving for our business. I was having cool ideas because I was just walking around the kitchen eating. Normally I would listen, it was my audiobook. I've been crushing audiobooks, fantasy audiobooks. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to not do this for a day. And I was like making a sandwich or something, and my brain was just operating on its own. All of a sudden, I came up with a solution for a business problem. I was like, oh, I've been numbing that. I've been muting that out with really loud noise.
Yeah. And then beyond that, once you do all the thinking, this is the scary part. This is why people freak out when they go to cabins. Because you first do your thinking. You're like, that was great. The scary thing is when you've burned thinking out. And this is where you get to the meditation stage. And this is hard. When you realize that underneath everything, you have a deep addiction to thinking.
Do you know our buddy just got back from like a 10-day Vipassana retreat?
No kidding.
Yeah, Evan.
Ew. Evan did?
Yeah. Should we fly him down?
Evan W?
Yeah.
I got to hear this.
Should we fly him down for a podcast?
I would.
Podcast?
He just got back from this?
Literally yesterday. He's going to call me tomorrow.
Oh my God, I have to hear about this. So good for him, man. What a boss.
Business expense? Fly him down?
Yeah. Well, I don't know that he's going to want to hang out with us anymore. We're heathens.
You do need time to ease back into it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I'm sure he doesn't want to talk and tell us everything. That's incredible.
He texted me. Say, hey, I just got back. I'll call you tomorrow.
Oh my goodness. Good for him, man. That is so gutsy.
Yeah, that scares me to sign up for. As someone who's very extroverted.
This is so gutsy.
To go sit and be silent for 10 days.
Well, I got to give him credit. He is the type of person that we're talking about the value of fasting and the value of solitude. He's like, And then you find out 3 days later, I just signed up for a 5-day retreat in the middle of the woods in Colorado to go live alone, not eat any food over that period of time. Have you ever done anything?
Yeah. 5-day fast. He did 5-day fast, no electronics, no nothing.
He's got insane guts. I don't have that kind of guts.
Yeah.
I need to ease into these things. I think I will eventually do a 10-day retreat. He's probably had the thought about doing a 10-day retreat seriously 7 days before he went.
Yeah.
And
awesome.
it was just good for him. I'm super excited to hear. But yeah, at a high level, this stuff shouts out your body. And I think that I will probably become much healthier and hopefully not even need the Apple Watch to become more in tune with the biorhythms and going to bed. And quite frankly, I'd be going to bed on time if there weren't computers and all of these other things that I'm doing while I'm staying up late.
Yeah.
So I'm working on having a healthier relationship with technology.
Nice.
All that to say. What else? Got Italy coming up.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to miss you, bud.
Big Italy trip with the fam. Miss you. That's going to be exciting. I haven't been with my parents.
Are you excited?
I'm nervous.
Yeah.
Not nervous. I'm braced. I'm ready. I haven't
7
been.
days?
9, I think.
9 days. You, your mom, your dad, your brother.
My brother. My sister's going to be in Scotland, so she's not coming. But yeah, it's good. I haven't spent that much time with my parents since I'm not kidding, 19, and I was home for college. It's been a long time, man. Right? When was the last time I spent 9 days?
I don't know. I do this with my family all the time.
Yeah, I don't got 9 days.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. And we'll be in these tiny little Italian quarters.
I want to get you, let's record one of these before you give me the story so I can get the live first reaction.
You don't want the people
I do.
To
No, I do. I want it when you're coming in hot. I want you to land, come in.
Yeah.
I will get all the dirt, all the good, all the bad. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be a story-riddled vacation.
We'll see. It might be laid back. Hopefully it's chill. Some of the interesting things that have come of it, and I heard about this when our friend was planning to take, I can say his name, it's Benji, when he was planning to take go with his family to Hawaii, one of the big things that made his grandma excited just about her year was this trip that was coming up every year, and she wound up losing an insane amount of weight for it.
She was practicing walking because they were going to somewhere that had walking, and her health was not great at the time, and so she was like, "Oh, I have to get to the point where I can walk, 10 miles a day."
Get that beach bod, right?
And so what she would do, she started with a mile,
yeah,
and then 2 miles, and then 3 miles. He's like, "Dude, this one family trip
in 10 months from now
saved my grandmother's health, basically."
Years, yeah. So we'll see. My dad has been not caring about his health for 10 to 15 years, and he knows that it's not good for him, but eats junk and all that kind of stuff. And I think has lost 10 pounds in the preparation for this trip.
Just of the walking?
Because he knew that he was going to be walking in Italian cities, and he was going to have to do all this kind of stuff, and he needed to be ready for it. It's crazy, but I think people, if not especially elderly people, I think I just need to set up trips for all of the old people in my life.
If you love someone and they're out of shape.
Because I've been trying to get him to eat better I've been yelling at him for 10 to 15 years.
Plan a walking trip.
Yeah, I think you just set up a time where you're going to, we're going to go have this fun experience that is going to require you to be in better physical shape. Do with that what you will.
Yeah,
and it seems to work well. So
2 for 2.
Maybe we'll make
Surely that's a big enough pen. Surely that's enough.
This is how studies are done, right?
Yeah.
That's another. I was thinking of making this video. I was thinking of making a video on why social science is kind of a joke.
Yeah.
Do you think I should? What do you know kind of the points that I would be making?
What, just basically that a bunch of studies come out and then they can never be replicated?
There's a couple points. One, there's that whole issue with replicatability, which is that so many of these, the testosterone power pose, which I've been guilty of repeating, are not true. The second thing is that the way that these studies are summarized by Newsweek and all the other things is a far cry from what the original primary paper will say. So the great example of this,
smile one.
So they took a bunch of photos of men in white shirts in one college, and they showed them to women. They said, which of these men is more attractive? And they, on average, they probably had 200 women, which is not a good enough sample size in one college, said men that weren't smiling. And from that, they said women more attracted to men who aren't smiling.
Yeah, instead of women are more attracted to photos of men who aren't smiling.
It's the photos.
Yeah.
And I agree. Women are more attracted to photos of men who are not smiling. But when you go beyond that, which every single headline did.
Said, guys, stop smiling.
And people are walking around thinking that if they smile, women don't like it, which is exactly wrong.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of issues.
Rooting in photos, smile in real life. That's the secret.
And then you have cultural issues, which is a lot of the things that we've assumed about humans in terms of reciprocity and how you get, like, you take that to China and they break totally. You have these things where people are fighting and losing money competing because there's some sort of honor culture whereby you can't take advantage of the other person, and you get completely different results than when you play these friend or foe games in the United States. So you've really just done a cultural study of one region of the United States of America. And then you're saying this is what humans evolved to do.
Good headlines, though.
I know. So
basically you just hate the media now.
I don't hate the media. And this is the bigger thing, which is that in the age of mass media, there's an exploitation in the human brain, which is we are unwilling to read and understand nuanced primary research. Sure. How many people do you know that are not in school or being paid to do so that have read primary research? Probably zero. How many do you know who have repeated a study that they read in Time or Newsweek?
All of them.
All of the people. And there is not only something lost and it's been consolidated in a wise way, it's wrong. It's just wrong by the time it makes it to Time magazine. And it's the fault of human psychology that we're just unwilling to go to the nuanced source. We don't have the time, space, or energy to do so. So the media can create a narrative that just gets repeated. And then the other thing is people like me who are influential but not trained in research might go to one of these Time magazines.
And trust it.
Time magazine, right? Trust it. A study from Idaho, and I've done this in the past, the University of Iowa says da-da-da-da-da, and now you've got 3 echo things saying a thing that isn't true.
Very positive. And also, the thing is, it's like when they said that certain drugs are putting holes in people's brains.
Yeah.
What you claim gets so much more coverage than when you redact it.
When you redact.
So, like, if you 6 months, so power poses boost testosterone. That gets out in the world. That's a fascinating fact.
Yeah.
It gets passed all around. 6 months later or 2 years later, oh, sorry, remember that study from 2 years ago that said testosterone goes up with power poses? That's not true.
Yep.
No one passes that
No
around.
one knows
That's
that.
not sexy.
No one knows that. Somebody tells me in the comments when I do a video saying it, they go, hey, man, you might want to check this out. And it's this whole thing talking about how it's not true that it raises testosterone. But, of course, the original researcher is still adamant that it has the effect.
It has positive effect. It doesn't raise testosterone. She's actually said, okay, fine, it doesn't raise testosterone, but it does increase your confidence. She's like, okay, whatever.
Which anecdotally I find to be true.
Yes, but this nuanced redaction is not making the rounds.
Sure.
And no one is publishing
Sure.
it. It's just like, oh, okay. Well, no one's going to hear that, so.
And then beyond that, the effects of testosterone on an individual in the moment are so varied and dependent, and the difference between testosterone and free testosterone is so different. One is bioavailable, one isn't, meaning one affects you and one doesn't.
This is random, and then I want to get to current events, but we have a buddy who's gotten his testosterone through, I forget what, some form of supplementation or medication or whatever, but he's basically like tripled it, and he's in the thousands.
Wow.
And I asked him, I was like, what's it like? He's like, well, I'm full of energy, I have no body fat, and I feel good all the time, and it's easy to put on muscle. It's like, well, that is tempting.
That is
It's like, huh. Any downsides? It's like, I don't know. It's only been a month, probably, but I haven't noticed them.
Well, you'll die faster. It's you burn your candle.
Oh, is that what's up?
Testosterone kills people. Yeah. And, well, in sometimes indirect ways, you're more likely to get in a fight, take a risk, do something that will wind up getting you killed. I mean, men live, I think, and don't quote me on this, 8 years less than women do in the United States on average. But yeah, testosterone.
Are we sure that's not just because of random jobs pulling it down? Like all the people that are crab fishermen? Or
why do you think that those are the people doing it? It's because they have testosterone.
All right, what if I start taking testosterone, but I task you with risk management? And I just say, hey, Charlie, I'm thinking about driving my motorcycle.
I'm going to be a crab fisherman.
I'm going to try to be a crab fisherman. Yeah, should I do it? No, Ben. That's because you've got testosterone.
Shut up, bro. I'm going. Me and the boys are going fishing. Yeah. I think that might work. I don't know if testosterone burns your body faster. I'm not sure. Yeah. I do know that it has indirect effects.
I'm not going to do it yet, but I was impressed with how
Is he doing actual injections?
Not injections, pills.
Pills. Mm-hmm. But you can do a lot of stuff with supplementation if you do.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's working with a doctor. Well, I'm positive he's working with a doctor.
Vitamin D, some zinc. Check your levels, man.
275 to 650, but that's just because my testosterone was atrocious.
But again, you were. This is such a weird thing. You were 210 pounds at 275.
Yeah, I probably felt better at 275 because I was younger.
I have the testosterone of an 80-year-old man, but the body of an MMA fighter. Like,
my body repaired itself way faster back then.
So anyway, let's do current events.
Current events.
What we got?
So something that interested me this week was Adam Savage has a new show from the Mythbusters.
Yeah.
Called Savage Builds. And on the first episode, he builds like an actual working flying Iron Man suit prototype. And I have a clip for you guys because it's
have you seen
cool.
This?
It's pretty incredible to watch.
Is this real?
Yeah, this is real.
Whoa.
I mean, it's just sort of like a prototype. It's nothing like he's not actually gonna like go fight crime or anything, but
not yet.
Not this year, but I mean, MCU took 10, so
this is not him in the suit in this video, because I don't know. But
how much is this suit for purchase? Just asking for a friend.
You don't got it.
Yeah, no, definitely. Whatever it is, you can't afford it.
Oh, it looks like. Oh my gosh.
Looks like C-3PO.
Well, it also looks like Obadiah's suit.
He's really gonna do it. Wow.
So do you know the core strength that takes? That's the issue. Is that the people who do those sorts of stunts need to have incredible body strength at this level.
I mean, he's flying way slower than Tony, though.
But
Tony Stark's way more impressive than this guy.
Yes, but this is the 0 to 1 leap, right?
Yeah.
To take it from 1 to 100 is that's doable. To go from 0 to 1 that's so cool.
What do you think? Cool. 5 years before someone can go 30 miles an hour?
5 months, man. No,
you think?
No. I think
30 miles an hour.
It depends how interested people are. So this is the Elon Musk just said, "Hey, space travel is going to be a thing," and so did Jeff Bezos, and probably moved it forward 30, 40 years of what the government was going to do. So will some crazy private business entrepreneur decide that this needs to be a thing? It'll take 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, it's dope.
Will it go just as a hobbyist thing or a government research for DARPA? Not necessarily quite as fast. DARPA, actually, that goes fast. They got a lot of money. That's awesome. That's so cool. I always thought that Iron Man was in some ways, the least... You just accept Thor gets smashed. He's Thor. Okay, he's okay. When Iron Man gets hit, he's still getting rattled around in that suit.
Yeah. No, he's got a lot. Because, like, let's say the suit...
It's accelerating and decelerating.
It would have to deflect somehow. Yeah. No, it's tough because you're still just a human in a metal suit.
Yes. Yes, you're just in a tin can.
It's like, don't people who fly they black out if they have too much G-force or something like that?
Of course. Well, and then what they do is they squeeze your legs and they do things that allow the blood to stay in your brain. But a car is essentially an Iron Man suit. And when you crash a car and you decelerate very fast and you slam into something.
Whatever, man. Captain America never gets shot in the feet either. It's fine. Welcome to the MCU.
It's got a big shield, man.
There's hilarious. There's a meme about like how to fight all these superheroes, and the answer for all it's like Wonder Woman, Captain America, Batman, and the answer is just always just shoot him in the foot.
Shoot him in the foot.
No protection.
That'll take him down. Get Batman in the eyes. That's really cool. I dig that. Anything else happening?
So another thing that interested me was Apple announced their new Mac Pro.
Yeah.
I don't understand this at all.
Well, so the reactions have been kind of mixed because it's really expensive. So it starts for just the computer at $6,000.
Nice. Reasonable.
Then
wait.
The monitor that they're sort of announced it with is starting at $5,000, but of course it goes up.
No, the monitor is $5,000?
$5,000 for the base, the cheap one, quote unquote.
The monitor stand was $1,000, right?
Yeah, and then the stand, which is optional, of course. But it's like it swivels, so it's $1,000, $999.
What makes this computer better than my laptop?
That's where the mixed reviews come in, because some people are looking at Apple and they're thinking it's like a consumer product and they're thinking it's ridiculously expensive, but I think it's actually for like editors, and I think it's for really, really high performance stuff.
Interesting.
This is for Dead Meow to make music on, basically.
Dead Meow.
But yeah, for $12,000 if you want all of the works.
That's incredible. I don't know. When I was a kid, there was things that I wanted my computer to do that it couldn't do. We had video games that I couldn't play. I wanted to play the Curse of Monkey Island 3. Couldn't do it.
Didn't have the power.
Didn't have the power. Luckily, I've had computers that are, up to 4 years old, but they've always been able to even play some of the games that I want. They're not the fastest, biggest games or the big MMOs, but they work. What does one need that sort of computing power to do out there? We do video editing, right?
Yeah,
on our laptops. Do you have any idea what this person would be doing?
I have no idea, because it has the capability of, I wrote it down, 1.5 terabytes of RAM.
Wow.
Which I can't imagine anybody that would ever use that much RAM.
Well, I bet you we all will in about 10 years when we're doing live streams of our life and with Apple layovers. 1.5 terabytes. That's exciting.
Means nothing to me.
So you probably have 8 gigs of RAM. So if you take a gig and you do, I think it's 1,024 of them, you get a terabyte. So do the math. It's a huge, insane leap. I like that. I guess I thought that we were hitting this computing edge where things were just not going to get better, stronger, faster because of some Moore's law or something, microprocessing. I don't know if they've busted it, but I don't want it. But I'm excited that that exists out there and that it's going to be in my phone in 15 years, right? That's sick. What do you think?
Phone's going to be in your brain.
Phone's going to be in your brain. I also think that Apple as a business, they've been smart. You can be, people often say in business books, you can be Apple or you can be Walmart. When you're Walmart, you're competing on price. You're trying to get an insane number of people, and you're trying to cut out competitors by just going, look, it's cheaper here.
Yeah, I'm sure people will buy this just out of curiosity. People with a lot of money will just go, what's a 12 grand computer like? I don't know. Let's get one.
We bought a $600,000 phone. Nobody thought that was possible, right? And that's how Apple has made their business. So in terms of, I actually thought they got way out of whack once Steve Jobs died, because they had one killer. They had the iPhone, the 2, the 3, the 4, and I think he died around the 4 or 5. I'm not exactly sure. But then it was the S, the C, the this, the that, all these different things. iPod Mini. They tried to make everything mini, pad mini. But he did iPod, iPad, iMac, these killer things that were definitions of what you needed to get. And I'm actually, as a business, I've been surprised that, not surprised, I think they've been living off of his legacy. They haven't innovated in a long time. This to me seems like a good step, because the only reason I think a lot of people stay on Apple is because of the goodwill that they built while Jobs was alive, and that their entire ecosystem is now.
And you want those sweet blue
text. The blue when you got a friend who's green. Is he a friend?
Disaster strikes. What else you got?
Is he a friend?
So another exciting thing is The Shining is getting a sequel finally. It's the trailer's out.
Did you ever watch this?
Never seen it.
I'm so scared of these movies.
Have you seen The Shining?
No, I've never watched it. I knew it was scary.
I got nothing.
Red Rum. All I know is that I don't like scary movies and that I probably won't see this one. Did you watch It?
I did not watch the new It, the remake.
No. Are you a scary movie buff?
I am, but I like bad indies horror. I don't really like watch studio horror.
So gruesome, like just weird looking.
More
deaths?
psychological. Like I like low budget, like $50,000 budget movies where it's just a bunch of characters in a room. Like, how did we get here? How do we get out? That type of, like, that's what I watch.
Got it. Like,
we should see if we can get a recording next time we do a scary escape room, because you and I are pathetic. You and I walk into a room that just happens to have dark lights and scary music, and we just become such mice.
So we walked in. How long do you think? So we walked into one room that had scary music, and there was a figure that wasn't a person, but it was a mannequin.
Could have been a person. Could have been a person.
Could have been a person.
Could have been
a monster. More importantly,
yeah. What if that wasn't even part of the escape room?
How long did it take us to approach that side of the room?
Three actual minutes, probably.
3 actual minutes of just pushing other people in front of us.
Dude, I went in with a chair. I was like, just keep something between me and the mannequin.
The unknown. I've never been good with the unknown.
Now we're wusses.
I was scared to get out of bed when the lights were out, because I knew what was going on inside of the covers, but out there, man.
Who knows? The only scary movie I liked was Saw 1, and that was just because there was a girl I was on a date with who I liked. Changed the whole game.
Changed the whole game.
Be brave. Impress her. I was like 15 and 16.
Don't look.
That's what I used to do as a kid. I would close my eyes, and I would, in my head, play the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles theme song if I didn't want to be scared. Because the music is what gets you. If you watched a scary movie on mute, I don't think you'd be scared at all. Or even just without music, but you could hear the people talking.
There was that
all the music.
There was that old joke that was when you were starting to get aroused, you would think of baseball, and I think like I was a late bloomer, so I always just apply that to scary stuff. So I didn't have a reason to. I wasn't worried about getting aroused, but I'd be like, okay, he hits it, it's a grounder to the shortstop. Goes to second, turns 2. Nice job.
I do that in massages when I don't want to get an erection, but I do it with math. I just do square. I do whatever it's called, like 2 squared, 3 cubed, whatever, and I just try to go as high as I can.
Where do you normally stop? Because at some point it's just
well, I'll play that one, or I'll play the like 2x2, 3x3, 4x4, 5x5. I'll get into like equaling 300 or so, and then eventually you stop.
That's some stamina, baby.
Sometimes you got a persistent erection. You know what I mean? Like, it's really just it's a mind over matter thing. You just gotta wait it out.
Oh man, luckily that hasn't been a masseuse issue for me. I'm in massage mode. I'm thinking of videos.
It's an involuntary muscle.
Obviously. I'm super, I think when I get massages. This is when I write all my videos. I think that's why I got to get more massages.
I just think about not getting an erection.
If the video quality drops, people will know
that you're not getting massages.
I'm not getting massages.
Yeah.
I'm spending too much time in the real world and not having.
It's a shame you can't, like, can you expense those?
No.
That's so silly because you literally will go there on a work day.
Oh, I go there on lots of work days.
Yeah.
No, I do it for work often, but it's what looks like a reasonable expense, and certainly the foot spa does not look like a reasonable expense.
C'est la vie.
We're doing okay.
What else you got?
So in YouTube news, a prominent figure in YouTube sort of beauty community, Jacqueline Hill, she has been.
Know her? No, go ahead.
Oh, I wasn't sure. Okay, sorry. So she has been hyping up her cosmetics line that's hers, that she funded and everything. Finally ships out a bunch of lipsticks, and everybody is tweeting out all these pictures. They look moldy and hairy and contaminated and gross. And now she's totally backpedaling and trying to fix the situation. Moldy. But that's a lot of people spent a lot of money on gross products, and I think that's interesting.
Did it come out, like, were they actually molding or contaminated? Has it gotten to the bottom of it?
She claims, so there's no, it's all pretty new still, but she claims that what happened was they poured the product in the container when it was too hot, and it was bubbles. She says it's not mold, it's bubbles, the little black specks.
What's her name? I'll look it up.
Her name is Jacqueline Hill.
Jacqueline Hill. I've never heard of her.
Well, you're not big in the beauty community, Ben.
I'm not.
I have no idea what this is either. The beauty community things that I know of are because of the James Charles debacle, which went
somehow,
which
dude,
went beyond the
I heard
community.
of that. That's what's crazy. I think it's because Joe Rogan talked about him.
He's over 15 million subscribers again, which is crazy. So effectively, I don't know. I don't think his career has been impacted in the slightest. I'm sure he had an awful couple of weeks in terms of mental health. But it seems to be. Oh, so there's these speckles on it.
It looks like hair.
Yeah.
Like somebody who was mixing the product got their hair in it. Yeah. And then let's see. But can you imagine?
How does this stuff? Do you have any idea what this costs? Because I know that makeup is surprisingly expensive whenever I hear about it.
I don't actually know, but because she's she's got such a name, I bet it's expensive.
Yeah. Something happened. Geoffrey Star, who I do know because of the Shane Dawson and all that kind of stuff, but he had a break-in to one of his warehouses where people stole, I think, over $1 million worth of supply.
Wow.
Like, trucks came in. They came in through the ceiling. They opened the warehouse.
Oh, this is a bank heist.
It was a bank heist. That's the thing. It was like, they don't have footage. They think it was someone that worked there at one point, but it was professionally done. Millions of dollars worth of product taken. And then it starts cropping up and is being sold, and it was all prior to the launch. So this is when there's demand, and even the big fans are... A lot of the fans are saying, don't buy this stuff. But the other one's going, I've been looking forward to this, and this is what I want to buy, so I'm going to buy it. Just, it's incredible. And if you think about it, it's like, okay, you can go to a bank that has a vault and a, and a cashier and an armed guard and this kind of other stuff. Or you can do something a little bit more creative, which is go to this warehouse. And I'm sure beyond makeup, there's a lot of things where you can fit millions of dollars worth of product into a truck because it's just in some commercial area. Yeah, and
you got to sell it without getting caught, though.
You got to sell it. Well, that's the thing, and then they get it to resellers, and the whole thing is to dump it to people that so you're not selling direct to consumer at that point. But it was a professional outfit, incredible,
wow,
and obviously devastating when you're excited about a launch, millions of dollars worth of your stuff gets stolen. You can't even deliver on certain colors. Apparently, like entire colors were taken. So I was like, oh, we don't have blue. Like, it's crazy stuff, man. This is why I like not having.
No, don't even say it. Don't even say it. Don't even say it. We get pirated all the time.
Yeah, that's
fair. People steal our stuff all the time.
That's fair. We do get. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah, people come.
You don't have to break.
They come into our virtual warehouse all the time.
I don't think they've ever stopped.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Coming into it. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks when you work hard on something, people steal it and then sell it out from under you at a cheaper price.
Yeah. We got to stop that.
So, dude, we've got someone who does it, but I think
they just are faster.
Pirates are going to pirate.
Yeah.
Luckily, people are happy to, I think, support you and the channel because they like what you do.
Yeah. Especially when we announce our big charity giveaway.
I guess that's coming. I guess it's live today. We're not even outing ourselves.
Should be live today, yeah.
Oh, I was going to not talk about it, but
you can talk about it. So we've been kicking around. Last year we did something for my birthday, and it was charity water, and we donated money and raised money. It was 2 years ago because we were in Brazil. It was 2 years ago. It was when I turned 30. I'm going to be 32 now. And I think we've donated. We haven't talked much about it every month for 3 years, I think, at this point, to Charity Water and Anti-Malaria Fund. But we wanted to do a bigger gesture that was shared with the community, because I think when you make we thought about this from a psychological perspective. We're like, look, we can do a monthly thing, which is good and makes an impact.
Yeah,
and
you
helps.
don't tell anyone. It just
you
helps
don't tell
the world.
anyone. It's just good.
But no one feels good about contributing to it.
But no one
either.
feels good about contributing to that. Or you can do a big Random House check, which is like, yes, is that ego boosting? Absolutely. But also is more likely to get picked up in the press, is more likely to inspire other people to donate, and is more
more
like
people feel good if they buy your courses
Yep.
or they watch your videos. They're contributing money to you, and then to see that money go to something good,
Yeah.
I think feels good.
Yeah.
Now, weirdly, we were gonna save up till October, which was still not going to be enough for the check we were gonna write.
Yeah.
But we were gonna just go, okay, we'll borrow from our future selves.
Yeah.
But now we're doing it now. So we basically came up with this idea 2 months ago.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, we're gonna save up for a year and then donate a year's worth of charitable stuff.
Yeah.
But now we're doing it in 2 months.
I'm excited.
And I thought about it. We're going to want to do it again next year. Because I was like, oh, it'll be okay. We'll donate it all now. But then you just stop doing it. It's like, no, because you're going to do it again.
Well, I think that I've thought a lot about this. I think being rich and being wealthy are very different. I think being wealthy is having enough money to not care, no matter how much you have. And part of being wealthy, I think, is giving exorbitant, more than most people by a large margin. And I don't mean as an absolute number. I mean as a percentage of your income away, and feeling good and happy and free about it. So for me, there is a huge selfish aspect of this, which is I want to be wealthy. And I do think an aspect of being wealthy is going, I don't need it. I feel wealthy of oxygen. I'm not worried about who's taking deep breaths in this room. And it's an incredible feeling, my relationship with oxygen.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful feeling. I'm tighter about money, and I want to be looser with it. And
I was just laughing
Yeah.
in my head because it's like, okay, well, we came up with this plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then we walked it back like 6 months because we wanted it to coincide with your birthday. So like, okay, we're going to donate X amount in a year. Okay, we'll donate X amount in 6 months. Okay, we're going to donate the same amount in 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, I don't even think the business has that enough. Where I'm going to have to take out of your personal.
I've been saving for a big donation.
No, I was just laughing. I was like, well, this is what happens when you get excited about something,
I've been
I guess.
saving. I have a separate bank account set up. I'm ready.
All right.
I'm ready to go.
Cool. It'll be fun. It should go live today, I think. Or the video.
Yeah.
We got to figure it out.
We'll set it up. Otherwise, we're going to look like idiots. It's going to be... We'll figure out how to move that much. And yeah, if you're watching this, if you've watched the other things, the point is, one, for me to do it because I want to do it, and for Ben to do it because he wants to do it, but also hopefully to inspire our fans to do something similar. And really, I don't think I'm going to get to make this longer call to action in the video, so I'll say it now. I think it's about being wealthy. If you want to do it for a selfish reason, sure, like give back. People that are out there that can truly use this in a way that goes far beyond the most intelligent way I could think of to spend this money. These people have a need for it that goes far deeper. But I'm doing it selfishly to feel wealthy, and because I want to not clamp down on money. And if you're watching this, yes, it's great to do for other people. Do it for yourself. You know, like it's I think nice to relax about trying to hoard. You know,
Sure.
and even if and hoarding is different for everybody, right? We might not have a lot, but I will say we're doing well as a business now. But we started this practice when I had no money. I had almost no money, and we were in Brazil, and I couldn't afford anything. But it was that same wealthy mentality, which was okay. Like, let's just decide that we have more than we need, you know, so we can give some away. And so even if you're sitting here watching this going, I don't have a ton, it doesn't have to be a ton, just something to signal to yourself that you have more than you need, and to give to someone who could use it. So we will do our best also to pick charities, I think, that, and we have, that are effective in their spending. We've read Effective Altruism. I recognize that not all charities, perhaps in their motive, are often created equal, but in their effect on people's lives or animals' lives or whatever it is, are not created equal. So we've tried to pick ones that have outsized effect per dollar spent. So it's going to a good place.
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, we got to figure out how to actually do it, how to get it out there in a way that's smart, that gets hopefully momentum so that other people donate. But we can talk about that after this.
Cool. What else we got?
So this next one is sort of similar to what you were talking about earlier about major publications spreading sort of weird, vague facts and information just for clickbait titles. CNN has an article, and the headline is, "You could be swallowing a credit card's weight in plastic every week," which I thought was interesting.
It's probably from all the credit cards I eat.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
How do you guys dispose of your unwanted credit cards?
Which I dispose of every week.
I'm big on the points guy. You know that. I have to eat a credit card a week.
You're an aggressive points guy.
I play the points game so hard.
You do. I've never seen anything like it. You will spend so much time. Like, certainly a bad use of time in versus money out, but you just love it.
I love points. There's nothing. I'd rather have points than money. And
I know. We had a friend who sold his business for millions of dollars. You didn't care at all. And then he told you that his business has expenses, which he uses on a credit card. So he gets points each month.
Yeah.
And that you were like, wait, you get 100,000 points each month? Yeah, because I spend 100,000 actual dollars. And you get 100,000 points? It's like, Charlie, what are we talking about?
Of the airline flights, Ben.
You love it.
Overstock.com.
And then you don't fly anywhere.
No, then I don't go anywhere. Then I don't go anywhere. I didn't even use my points on this trip to Italy.
Saving them for later. You're wealthy with money. You're a point hoarder.
I'm a point hoarder. I'm so delusional and sick with these points.
What about if I have a different flight to Europe?
I know.
You're flying to Europe.
I need TLC to come into my house and just be like, okay, we're gonna spend. No, I don't think I'm ready.
No.
Okay, let's just start by getting rid of some of these credit cards. No, this one's important. I don't think I can get rid of any of these. Yeah, I'm a point hoarder. I accept it. What else?
So, a YouTuber a couple years ago, a YouTuber pranked a homeless man he put toothpaste in the Oreo shells. He gave them to a homeless man, and then filmed as the homeless man was eating them, and then got sick.
Oh, jeez.
And then was like ridiculing this man and put it online.
The guy threw up, right?
Yeah, he vomited. And this was a couple years ago. And just like recently, like I think this week or last week, he actually got sentenced to 15 months in jail. And he has to shut down all of his social media accounts for 5 years.
Wow.
Which I thought was pretty interesting.
How old was he at the time?
He's got to pay 23 grand too. He was 19.
Yeah,
19.
I have it. It's $22,300 he owes.
Wow. I read that I don't think he's going to go to jail, actually. I think he's a first-time offender. It's a nonviolent offense. Yeah. So what they're saying is he's sentenced to jail time, but he'll probably get waived or paroled or something. But his penalty, he's a YouTuber, and his penalty is 20 grand and no social media, including YouTube, for 5 years.
People say that your IQ drops about 20 points when you turn a camera on.
Really?
It's not actual science.
Sorry. I was like, speaking of social studies.
Wait, go tell all your friends.
Tell me more.
But
I got what you're saying. Yeah, like the pressure to perform.
There's a guy who held up a book while his girlfriend shot him and and then got shot. And they wouldn't have done that.
Did it go through the book?
It went through the book. I'm pretty sure.
Just curious if you missed the book.
I'm pretty sure. Point being that the things that people do when you turn a camera on are, there's no way he would have done that.
Yeah. No, it sucks. I mean, definitely you have to penalize it. Hopefully it prevents people from doing it in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's
weird is
it wasn't his idea, it was an audience challenge. So the way this guy works is he puts in the comments. So we do for this podcast.
Yeah, who should we cover?
Write in the comments and we'll answer your questions. His was right in the comments and I'll do the most upvoted stuff. And he had no filter, no morality.
So somebody upvoted that.
So he's done a bunch of videos. I'm absolutely not defending it. I'm just explaining. He did a bunch of videos. This idea got
I think it's good to try to understand how these things happen rather than going, this is clearly just a monster. Yeah.
I don't think he's a monster. I think he's a kid who wasn't thinking. And so he said, okay, I'll do this one. He's done bad stuff before. He fed elderly people something that had been baked with like cat poop or something. What? Yeah, he just does what people upvote. And what people upvote is, that's his audience. To be fair, he's not polling the world.
But
like he's collected an audience of people.
And again, this kind of behavior is definitely not to this degree normal amongst adolescents in that they are jerks, right? They do
what's the thing? Audience is saying, do this
at the behest of their social circle.
Feed people toothpaste.
And what they need to happen is at some point in your life, I got pulled aside in 5th grade when I was teasing some kid that was special needs. All right, like I got scolded and yelled at. Was I an awful human? No, I was a 5th grader that was trying to like.
He was trying to be cool, figure it out.
And thank God that I got pulled aside and scolded and was mortified at that. And you need, at some point in your life, somebody to come in and not say, listen, you're an awful person. You're behaving like an awful person and you're going to be in trouble. Like there are consequences to this that you don't like because you haven't, of course, you're 5th grade. You haven't developed an internalized sense of other people and morality. And I'm glad that there is a punishment. I'm glad that he will be allowed to eventually integrate into society. It's just unfortunate that at some point earlier in his life, when he was in 5th grade, someone didn't say, you're being a jerk, and you need to stop because it's not a good thing to do.
Well, the opposite. People were like, I'm sure when he fed the cat poop cupcakes or whatever it was to elderly people in the comments were like, this is hilarious. My God, do more terrible stuff. Yeah. Like for a while, he had people patting him on the back, thousands of people saying this is amazing. And so then he just kept going, and you always have to outdo yourself too. So it's like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
Now I'll make a homeless person vomit on camera and record it.
And I look at myself, especially at 19, when did any sort of serious going against the flow self-reflection occur in my life? Definitely not by 19. Perhaps the first time was 4 Hour Work Week.
22, yeah.
22. And we were early, I would argue. So I'm not saying that this kid didn't do a horrible thing.
No, it's a bad thing.
It's definitely a bad thing. But if you put me in the same influences,
put a lot of people, make a lot of people.
I didn't have any internal.
I'm sure he started
sense.
small.
Yeah.
I'm sure he started. This is not the first thing he did. It's boiling.
It's a bummer,
frog.
man. It's a bummer, and I'm always curious about how you solve this without going, "Oh, we have a bad apple." Like, what's the systemic change that needs to happen to stop that sort of stuff? Of course, it's the home life. If you look at his upbringing, I'm sure that this kind of stuff.
I don't know. It's also a weird cultural thing. It happened in Spain. He's Chinese. Like, none of this is happening in U.S. soil by U.S. citizens. So there's
not this particular case. I'm sure this.
Sure. But I'm just saying. No, but people do this all the time on YouTube. Actually, to be fair, tons of shitty pranks. Wasn't there a couple that started? It was like a pranking couple, and then they started small with like funny pranks, and then it became kind of malicious pranks. And then it got so bad that they broke up.
Well, they broke up.
They kept trying to.
And I think I don't know exactly who you're talking about, but there was the couple. God, what was their name? It was Jesse and his girlfriend. They had over 10. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think their channel was Prank versus Prank.
Prank versus Prank, yeah. I don't know if this is exactly who you were talking about, but they broke up, interestingly.
Their boyfriend-girlfriend?
They were boyfriend-girlfriend, and they broke up not necessarily because the pranks got so bad, but because the relationship became about the views.
Yeah.
And they had to... What's the line between this fun thing I'm doing for you and I need to get
it wasn't
views?
for... Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm positive that the person being pranked, at least in the couple I'm talking about, did not always enjoy the pranking. Like, there were some brutal ones.
Yeah.
This girl was running on a treadmill. I think it was the girl was running on a treadmill, and the boyfriend just came and knocked her legs out from under her, so she just ate it. It's like, that's not fun. That's not
Great
funny.
television, though.
People loved it. Yeah. No, and I think again, that's not your first video.
Yeah.
You start
I love fail videos where people fall, but don't do it to someone.
You're sick, though. Your Schadenfreude is off the charts. You'll watch
I don't
videos.
like when somebody hurts someone else, but when things just happen, I don't want someone to die in the video. Actually, I have laughed at some of those.
Dude, you're brutal.
It's bad.
You like watching people fall.
Yeah.
In a way that I just don't. And I'll come in on you cackling, watching I'm like, oh, what is this? Like, I get so excited to share, and I'm like,
I don't like gory stuff. I don't want to watch blood anywhere. I do.
No, you just love watching people fall.
The fall. I like kids because they fall hard from low heights, like their feet to their head, in ways that are hilarious, but they're not damaged by. So that's the best kind.
And I'm a slow learner too, because I just assume that we have similar sense of humor. No, see, I always find you laughing. I'm like, oh, I want to see it.
No. There's just one of this little girl. Gray showed it to me, and she's on top of one of those little plastic slides, and she's holding her dad's hand with one thing, and he kind of looks away. He's holding the camera, and she goes, "Wee!" and then jumps face forward off the slide.
Oh no!
He catches her. She doesn't
good.
But she just her self-preservation instinct is non-present.
Yeah.
It's not wee. Just dives. It's amazing. Kids are hilarious, man.
She's ready to go.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm gonna make you keep me alive.
Yeah.
I'm taking no responsibility.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get a bunch of testosterone injections, and I'm gonna say, Charlie, your job is to keep me alive.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to comments.
So I have a couple of specific ones, but I first wanted to get out of the way. A lot of the comments asked if you guys are going to be uploading full episodes of the podcast to other platforms like iTunes and...
Yeah, we should. Yes. Do you think we could do it by this one? I don't know if we can pull it together. Definitely by the next one.
I don't know how is the thing. So like,
I'm going
to have to learn this process.
Yeah.
Someone could, like someone who's done podcasts before could take our files and get them up, but I don't even know. It might take, I don't know if you have to register with iTunes.
I'm sure you have to do stuff. We'll get someone to do it. It will, yes.
I would say our goal is to have some up by July or August.
Yep. Wow, we're slow, but I appreciate
it. We are slow, dude. We are slow. We make no money off of this. This is our second business.
Yeah.
All it does is take money.
Yeah.
It's fun, and I like people like it. But
and destroy your house with all these
lights. ruined my house. No, so yeah, I would love to do it.
It's happening.
I literally don't even know how to do it, so we'll figure it out.
Yes.
If anyone has advice for how to do it, no, we'll Google it. We'll figure it out. But yes.
What else?
So Dan from YouTube asks or says, I'm not sure where you guys I'm not sure why you guys close your circle of compassion to only mammals. This is in reference to the not eating mammals. Why not turkeys, chickens, and non-mammalian sea creatures? They are all sentient and just want to live like mammals. What traits do non-mammals have that mammals do have that justifies eating them? Not
Great
judging,
question.
just curious.
Great question.
Good
So
question,
Ben
Dan.
and I split.
Thank you, Dan.
I
Making
went.
me feel bad about myself, Dan.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little bit of extra brownie points here. I don't eat chickens. I don't. I try not to eat eggs very, very rarely. I've done the one thing I do that I actually thought about. I have yogurt, where it's like, oh man, these are dairy cows. I didn't think about that. So I'll have to consider that. But when I look at a chicken and it's a gut level instinct, I think what people are judging by, this is the hard thing. Nobody's pro-life. You cannot live without consuming living creatures. Now, if you could starve yourself, but you will destroy.
You're counting plants as living
you will
creatures.
commit a genocide of plants if you try to live as a human, and so it's not pro-life, and it's certainly not even pro-survival, because those plants in their own way are trying to survive.
Sure, no one wants to die.
And
well,
this
I take that back. But
this argument of sentience, which I totally understand, I believe is a scale, because, and I would argue you call it sentience, consciousness, whatever you want, and there's probably some level of it that exists in plants. And if you were to take a time lapse, the way that we judge sentience tends to be the speed at which something moves, honestly, right? So things that move quicker, like people, that kind of stuff. Oh, it's actively trying to not die. When you punch it, it rocks away. Well, a tree, when I chop it, it doesn't move. Except if you did a time lapse, you watch the tree grow towards the sun. It has preservation behavior.
yeah, it doesn't just go straight. Something about it, you can call it consciousness or
wants
instinct
to survive.
Yeah.
And that's true of all plants. So we're not pro-life. If we're going to, I'm starting from a baseline of I'm going to survive
Yeah.
personally. So I'm not pro-life. And
also I want to jump in. We use terms like pescatarian because they're convenient. They get across the point, but neither of us eats octopus.
Yes.
That's a very intelligent animal. So it's actually not just mammals, but it's, when you're communicating, it's difficult. Okay, it's not mammals and also not octopus.
Yeah.
And we've kind of tried to base it on some form of intelligence
And so then and then the question becomes for each individual, where do you draw the line? And you can argue that there's clearer gaps. Like one might say that the gap between a plant and an animal, a bug, is a large gap, right? You can make that, or that between a bug and a bird, and within species of birds, and probably within individual birds. So it becomes this question of where does one draw the line? I looked at chickens personally, and I thought of the way that they're raised in these awful farms, and I thought, would I condone this if I had to look at it every day? And I thought, no. And then I looked at fish, and I go, okay, they got awful lives. I have a tougher time connecting with the suffering of a fish, which I'm not denying.
Yeah, we're not saying we're perfect, by the way. I wrote a response to this.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not perfect. We're just trying
absolutely
to
not.
do better than we were doing.
Sure, totally. And so then I looked at fish, and I went, I'm sure, they're getting bad, not happy, but it's tougher for me to connect with the plight of a fish who comes up against the wall and goes, and then comes back, versus a chicken who goes, it screams its head off.
Sure.
So
yeah, the fish's greatest sin is that it doesn't have vocal cords.
Exactly. Not sin, but my inability to connect with its suffering, I think, is in large part because of that. So for me, it becomes, how clearly can I connect with this species' suffering? And then I try, and then I don't. So I don't do chickens. I don't do that kind of stuff.
You're basically pescatarian minus octopus.
Yeah. Well, pescatarian, yeah.
Well, pescatarians eat octopus.
I think pes is fish. Octopus is a squid.
Well, okay. So again, this is the definition. I would bet most pescatarians eat all seafood.
Yeah, and perhaps the safer thing to do, and I've thought about this.
Well, here's the thing. Pescatarian means just fish. I'm positive that a mussel, a scallop, has less intelligence than a fish. So if you're going for morality, it wouldn't make sense to only eat things that have fins or scales.
So I've thought about this.
Your best bet is mussels. They're dumb.
If I were morally perfect, I wouldn't eat fish.
That's smart.
If I actually followed my moral intuition, regardless of my convenience.
What if we switch to mussels?
Well, that would be it. It would be mussels. You'd eat mussels every day.
Huh. So shout out to this person for inconveniencing my life further. But I thought about this because I saw the question, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna have to figure out again how to maybe reorganize my life. But my thing is influenced by two things, if I'm being honest. One, I had a pet chicken at one point. I hated it, and so I was just like, yeah, fuck these things, which is not a good reason. I'm not saying it's a good reason. Just that's true. This is a fact. It was horrible. It was a rooster. It woke me up every day. And then two is a sense that if I went vegan, it would be really tough to get enough of the right food and nutrients. That I would become skinnier, that I'd be hungry all the time. Like I already mostly eat salad. I mostly eat salads and fish.
I don't enjoy eating as much as I used to.
No. And even cutting fatty, like you can eat a steak and get 1,000 calories. There's fat and stuff. Yeah. When you're doing chicken breast, it's harder. When you're doing salmon, it's harder. And so part of it is absolutely just a thing of, I was like, okay, I want to stop eating certain animals, but also I don't want to become super skinny. And actually one of the other reasons I had a chicken, it was like, it's really expensive to eat just seafood. Yeah. So I was like, okay, this lets me get calories, it lets me get protein, and it's cheaper, which is, and again, I'm not a saint. I'm not perfect. I was just like, okay, I'm doing well by not eating cows. I'm doing well by not eating pigs. And so I'll draw my line at mammals because we're mammals and the mammals. And I do think
much easier to connect.
I do think, listen, like you don't want people to eat dogs. I think most Americans would agree that's wrong, right? Yeah. Well, a cow and a pig are similar to a dog. Yeah. A chicken is certainly, we call it bird brain. They're less intelligent. So I got to use that as kind of like, a chicken's brain is much smaller. Certainly, it's on the scale with like a snake's brain or a lizard's brain, these tiny. And so this question made me think, all right, well, maybe I'll have to refigure out how to move again in a better direction while still not being perfect.
I hate you.
So, genuinely, I was thinking about this. So if you're watching, Dan, I will have some sort of lifestyle change again, and still won't be perfect.
Yeah. I think a thing that I can do that I will look into is eating mussels more often. Mussels are like,
well, I was actually thinking that. So I used to do it.
I feel very comfortable being like,
didn't have,
this is mostly a plant.
Yes. And I actually started cooking it myself, and it's kind of inconvenient. But
it's super inconvenient.
But I think there's a way to do it. So
I'm going to look into, I'm not going to promise anything. I'm going to look into the health impacts of these sorts of things. What happens when you overload on them.
I've heard there's more mercury in higher on the food, more apex predators of the sea. So sharks, tuna,
then
mussels are pretty low.
Yeah.
Because the other reason I was eating a lot of fish and I was getting a lot of blood, not a lot, every 3 months getting blood work for mercury poisoning.
My mercury's high.
And it's scary. Like if you get mercury poisoning, it's basically Alzheimer's. Your memory starts to go. So that factored into it as well. But I think, and I'll still do the blood work, that mussels are on the lower end. And I think what happens is when you're a sea creature that eats sea creatures, it kind of compounds. I'm getting the science very bro sciencey, but that's why swordfish, shark, tuna,
and they're alive for a long time. Salmon don't live very long compared to a swordfish. So
maybe we'll eat a lot of scallops.
I'm going to look into mussels. The short answer to your question is, it was an attempt to balance convenience, truthfully, on the one hand, with our lives, with doing better morally, but I don't think either of us arrived at a point where like, no, I can defend this stance morally 100%. It was a balance.
And we went back and forth and we split at a different point.
Yeah. Even mine, I went, if I were going and I just discounted what I liked or what was nice for me.
I'd just eat grass.
I just eat plants and probably mussels I would eat. Yeah. I think I'm
big. No, I'm
okay with that.
I like the scallop mussel angle.
I'll take a look. And so I'll try to move more in that angle.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks for the question.
2 lives changed, my man.
What's next?
So I have one more, and this one is more sort of like an advice type question, but Dale asks, what's the best way for a doctor to deal with mean, disrespectful patients and their loved ones? I know someone who's been an ICU doctor for 5 years, saved hundreds of lives, improved quality of lives for thousands, but in the clinic where it's just checkups and follow-ups, she can be crushed by the awful rudeness that she has to deal with.
Interesting. What do you think?
So this is an interesting question because a lot of my advice for how to deal with rude people is you either A, just filter them out. I'm a big believer that you don't change people, you filter them. Or B, you can use boundaries. Yeah. You can draw a boundary, have one hard conversation, but change the behavior of a friend, a loved one, a family member. But these people are coming in and out. Yeah. So it's basically like this person's coming in, they're angry, they're in a hospital, so things aren't going well, and they're being rude to you. And also it's your job. Because like sometimes you got to just be rude to somebody back. Yeah. And you draw that line and then you agree to never interact. But it's like, maybe that gets you fired if you're a doctor.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting question.
It'd be nice to know the specifics.
Yeah. Are there any quotes? Any specific things that get said?
It's actually a pretty wordy comment. I just got the question part. But, so she's in a fellowship, still in training.
Like, what do these people say?
I'd be super curious. Any idea what they're saying or how they're being rude or under what circumstances?
Sorry.
This is a good thing for future questions. So when it is a question, the more specifics that we have, can't promise to get to every question, but this always makes it easier. I always ask people to give me specifics when they ask sort of charisma questions. Yeah. Because being rude means a lot of different things. I'm not saying this is the case with this particular person, but sometimes it's your perception of that is what needs to change. Other times it's, oh, you need to change your behavior.
Well, the other thing, are they being rude by not answering your questions, which is preventing you from doing your job, or they're being rude by cussing at you? Because the advice is different, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this one, it seems sort of like almost like this one, she was sort of double checking on the monitor, and the patient asked, are you looking at a blank screen? Like just sort of almost like rushing type of thing. So I'm not really sure. There's not a lot of examples.
Sure. So I think one of the tough things to do, and I always sort of answer who I'm thinking about, but the Russell Brand video came out. The one thing is to try to don't interpret negative intent even where you think it is there at first. So that person goes, are you looking at a blank screen? And it's very easy to go, that person is purposely being a jerk. But it's a little bit ambiguous.
No, let's assume they are being a jerk, though, because I think there's still advice for it.
Fine. Pretend that they're not.
Sure.
Pretend that they're not. Kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
Is my first thing. And if you watch all the videos where we do how to stand up for yourself, step one is always kill them with kindness. And then it's only when it's repeated behaviors at which point you go to the call out. So if somebody says, is that blank screen? Go, oh, no, it's not a blank screen. You know, just answer literally with a smile on your face as if they were asking you a genuine question, which maybe they weren't even doing.
I think the other two things I'd say, humanize yourself and align incentives. So for instance, if you're helping these people, I don't know, maybe they're rushing because they're stressed and they're in a hurry or whatever. You say, hey, sir, I totally understand. First of all, acknowledge them, humanize them. It's like, hey, sir, I totally understand that you're stressed for XYZ reasons. I'm trying my best to help you.
So we can get you out of here fast.
It hurts my ability to help you to deal with comments like that. Like if you can help me by answering my questions directly and not insulting me, I can help you by getting you out of here faster so you can get to your loved one or whatever. But you kind of humanize her.
And I would even put that. I would even put that at stage 2.
I agree.
That would be a stage 2
after being kind.
Because that is more of a kind but direct call out. So yeah,
I'm a huge fan of the call out though. I love calling people out.
Yes, but you always don't do it immediately.
Oh, for sure.
It takes 2.
For sure. Step 1 is be nice.
Yeah.
Try to be kind. I like to misinterpret everything as positively and assume everyone's being nice. But I can imagine a world where these people are genuinely being rude.
Then do that.
So you're being nice. They're still being a jerk. And you just pull up. You acknowledge them first, right? Step 1, acknowledge them. Like, hey, sir, I understand. And then whatever their situation is. Could suck, you know? I understand that you're blah, 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 blah. I am trying my best to... Now you humanize yourself and you show them you're on their team, right? I am trying my best to help you get there faster, get you the best coverage, get the doctor in here, or I'm the doctor and I'm trying to get you the best, whatever. So humanize them, humanize yourself, and then align incentives. Be like, if you could help me by answering these questions quickly and directly, I will help you by blah, blah, blah. And now we're on the same team. Same team is awesome. I always try to be on the same team.
Yeah. I dig it. Is that it?
Yep, that's all I have for you this week.
Beautiful. So let us know how you guys felt about the questions in the comments. Let us know if you liked the topics, if you want to do more questions, if you want different topics, that kind of stuff. And
if you see a question you want answered too, like it. We'll try to. I can't guarantee we'll answer every question based on the number of likes, but
yeah, we've learned that lesson is not the way to create
content. We're not going to feed toothpaste to a homeless person.
Feed Oreos to Ben full of toothpaste.
So we got to do it for the views.
That's what we're doing in our next video.
So anyway, but we will look at that. We'll factor that in. So yeah, if you see someone other question that you want answered, go ahead and like that bad boy.
People also liked our sign off last time. So
what was our sign off last time?
Okay, we're done.
Goodbye. Thanks for watching. We love you.
Good stuff.